What if you could take, say, a huge stack of raw data, maybe 500 customer emails or survey results, read them in, well, seconds, and instantly know exactly what your audience wants you to build next?
Yeah, and then take that knowledge, that deep insight, which honestly used to take weeks for a person to figure out, and then boom, generate a whole detailed, like ready to sell 30-day course structure. That's real leverage.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We really appreciate you sharing these sources with us. Okay, let's unpack this. It feels like a real shift in how work gets done.
Our mission today is really getting into these advanced AI workflows. We're moving way past just, generating simple text like last year. We're talking about using AI as a strategic partner, something that helps you get real customer insights and build complex stuff, structures that actually work.
Right. So the roadmap is focused. First, we'll look at workflow 3. Turning that messy raw data into, well, customer gold.
The good stuff, yeah.
Second, we dive into workflow 4, building an entire online course structure from essentially a messy brain dump. And finally, we'll pull together those crucial mindset rules, the things you absolutely need to get right to avoid, failing when you try these more complex tasks. Okay, let's start with workflow 3. This one feels like maybe the most practical, immediate win for a lot of people. It's moving from that really tedious job of reading, thousands of lines of feedback to actually analyzing it strategically. You know that feeling, right? Opening an Excel file with 500 survey answers, that's usually a week of pure pain.
Oh, yeah. Total information overload.
Yeah.
Kills your productivity. But AI can read all of it, like instantly. But here's the really key step, the operational bit, role definition. You absolutely have to tell the AI very clearly, act as a customer insights analyst.
Yeah.
You're basically hiring an expert for that specific task, just for that moment.
Okay, but if I just ask it for a summary, won't I just get something generic, surface level? What are the specific things we need to demand? The output requirements make it tactical.
Right. The output needs to be super specific. You demand the top 3 things users absolutely love about the product, and, just as important, the top 3 concrete complaints or problems they have. And then, crucially, you ask for the hidden opportunity.
Okay, explain that. Hidden opportunity, what is that exactly?
That's the innovation lever. It's basically asking for 1 or 2 smart suggestions that maybe only a tiny fraction of users mentioned, like 5 people out of 500, something you totally miss just skimming through. That's often where the real breakthroughs are. Differentiation.
That is fascinating. But how do we make sure we're getting the user's voice? Not just the AI's interpretation of what people might think.
Good question. You have to demand real user quotes.
No. Okay.
For every single point, every top love, every top complaint, and especially for that hidden opportunity, you make the AI pull out a direct verbatim quote from the source file. These quotes give you the context. They give you the emotional proof. It's undeniable evidence.
Right. It connects the abstract finding back to a real person's experience.
Exactly. It's the emotional proof point you need.
Now, workflow 3 also has this really valuable second part. It's focused just on intelligence gathering. This is how you can learn about the market even before you have your own product or your own customer list.
Yeah, this is a great trick, honestly. You don't need your own customers yet. You just analyze your competitors' customers.
So we're talking about analyzing competitor products, specifically their reviews.
Exactly. Go somewhere public, like the App Store or Yelp or Amazon. Find a major competitor.
Yeah.
Then filter their reviews. And here's the key. You're not looking for the glowing 5-star ones. You filter for only the 1-star and 2-star reviews. Copy, say, 50 to 100 of those really negative comments. Paste that right into the AI. That's your input.
So the input is all negative feedback. And the prompt, again, has to be really specific.
Absolutely. Instruct the AI to act as a market researcher, but one who specializes in, like, product failure analysis. You demand just 2 things. What are the top 3 reasons customers absolutely hate this competitor's product? And what are the exact complaining words or phrases they keep repeating over and over?
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for anyone listening, I think. This whole process. It's basically the AI buying you really expensive lessons, but for free. You instantly learn the common pitfalls, the things people hate, the fatal flaws. And you avoid making those same mistakes yourself.
Whoa. Yeah. And just imagine scaling that. Imagine processing millions of public reviews across, like, every platform, all feeding into your product roadmap in almost real time. That's a massive strategic advantage, undeniable.
So does this kind of negative data looking at failures and pain points, does it actually give us better, clearer building blocks for improving a product compared to just focusing on positive feedback?
I'd say fixing pain points is almost always a clear, actionable win for making something better. Yeah.
Okay, so we've used AI to find the market's pain points, maybe even analyze competitor failures. Now, the strategic question becomes, how do we use AI to build a solution, something that directly addresses those things people hate? This brings us to workflow 4, product creation, specifically building an online course structure.
Right. And the biggest hurdle most people face when they have expertise, when they know their stuff, it isn't the content itself. They know the topic. It's the structure, getting it organized. AI can be brilliant at that. It's like an architect for your knowledge.
So step 1 is what you call the brain dump, and you don't even need to sit and type out a linear outline first.
Nope. Just use a voice memo tool, Voice Pal, or just your phone's recorder is fine. Go for a walk, maybe 15 minutes, and just talk.
Yeah.
Messily. Stream of consciousness, everything you know about the topic. Then get that audio transcribed, that messy transcript. That becomes your raw input for the AI.
Okay, that messy input is where step 2 comes in. Finding the clear, simple promise for the course.
Exactly. You prompt the AI again, but this time as an educational marketing expert. And you ask it to frame your messy brain dump using the simple story brand frame, beat. That's just a basic narrative structure that really helps clarify your message. Makes it super clear for marketing.
Okay, so how does that framework break down for a course? Let's take an example like confident speaking for shy professionals.
Sure, you define 4 key things. Who's the hero? That's the student, the shy professional. What's their problem? And this includes both the external thing, like having to give presentations, and their internal fear, the fear of being judged. How does this course help? That's the guide your course. And what does clear success look like? Something measurable, like giving a 5-minute presentation feeling confident.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes when I'm trying to get AI to capture a really clear single message like that. It's genuinely hard to boil down complex knowledge into something that simple and resonant.
Oh, totally. And that's exactly why forcing the AI into that story brand structure is so helpful. It provides the guardrails,
Yeah.
it forces clarity and stops you from slipping back into jargon or complexity.
How crucial is getting that problem definition right, especially nailing down that internal fear part?
Oh, it's critical. That internal fear is the real hook. A course needs that clear message to really connect with the student's internal struggle. Otherwise, it's just information, right? Not transformation.
Yeah. Okay, so once we have that crystal clear promise, we move into actually building the thing, the curriculum development, and then generating initial sales materials kind of at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Step 3, creating the detailed curriculum. Now, you prompt the AI with a different expert persona. This time, it's a professional instructional designer. Beat. Someone whose whole job is designing effective learning materials and course structures. And again, you have to be precise about the structure you require.
And what kind of specifics do we need to demand here?
Well, for our example, maybe a 30-day structure, broken down into 4 weekly themes. And for each week, you demand not just the main lesson titles, but also a non-negotiable practical exercise. Homework. Like for week 1 of our confident speaking course, it might be record a 30-second video just saying your name and a hobby. No editing allowed. Just do it.
That makes it actionable, measurable, prevents it from just being passive watching.
Precisely. Then, step 4 is about immediate validation, maybe even monetization. You take that full structured outline and the promise we defined earlier, and you ask the AI to generate 2 key sales assets right away. Maybe a 200-word marketing email for your existing list, and say a 60-second social media video script. And that script needs a strong hook that directly targets the student's pain point, that internal fear we identified.
Okay, so you've gone through this process. You have this complete, beautiful, structured course outline. The blueprint is there. What's the biggest, most common mistake people make at this point?
They stop. They think the blueprint is the finished building. They skip the absolutely critical step of adding their unique content, their personal stories, their insights, their soul, mid-roll sponsor, read placeholder.
These workflows are clearly very powerful, immensely powerful, but we also know they demand a really specific approach, a certain working strategy. Let's look at those rules of engagement, the things that ensure these complex interactions actually work and don't just lead to frustration or bad results.
Yeah, there are basically 5 essential principles or rules you need to follow. First, always remember the fundamental structure: input, processing, output. Clearly define your raw data input, clearly define the AI's expert role for processing, and clearly define the exact structure you need for the output.
That structure requirement is what stops you from getting those vague summaries we talked about.
Exactly. Principle 2, generate many, filter with your brain, never ask the AI for the best idea, That's lazy. Ask it for 30 ideas or 50 potential lesson titles. Use the AI for quantity, for options. Then use your human intuition, your expertise, to filter down to the best few, the 3 ideas that really resonate.
Principle 3 is about that division of labor, isn't it?
hmm Use AI for structure. Keep your voice for content. Think of the AI as the architect. It draws the blueprints, make sure the walls are sound. But you have to be the interior designer. You add the feeling, the unique stories, the personal expertise that makes it feel like, well, like you, makes it valuable.
The sources also really emphasize connecting different tools together, stacking, they call it.
Yes. Connect your tools. Stacking. This is where the real leverage kicks in, I think. The
Yeah.
power comes when these tools talk to each other. It's like stacking Lego blocks of data, you know? Think about that flow we mentioned. Record an idea in VoicePal, transcribe and analyze it in Claude, plan it out in Notion, and then maybe automatically turn parts of it into presentation slides using Gamma. Each tool does its specialized job really well.
And the final principle is that classic rule of computing, really. Good input equals good output.
Yeah, avoiding lazy commands is just vital. If you type, write me a report about customer feedback, you're going to get a lazy, generic report back. But if you use those detailed, specific, expert role prompts we've been discussing, you get an expert-level result. Simple as that.
And that principle of being specific, of giving good input, leads us right into the common pitfalls, doesn't it? We need to know the mistakes to avoid when trying to run these more complex workflows.
Number 1 beginner mistake, easily, declaring, this AI sucks, and just giving up too quickly. The problem is almost always the command you gave it or the way you structured the prompt, not the tool itself. You need to tweak the role or adjust the output requirements you set. Iterate.
And the second mistake ties back to what you said about keeping your voice, losing that human touch.
Right. Letting AI do everything, losing your soul. If you just generate content and use it 100% unedited, robotically, your audience will feel it instantly. It lacks personality, depth. Never, ever just copy and paste without critical review and editing. Add yourself back in.
What I find most fascinating here is the fundamental shift in the human skills that are becoming most valuable.
That links to mistake number 3. People still think, oh, I can't code. That's old world thinking now. These modern AI tools, they don't need you to code. They need you to be able to clearly describe what you want. Seriously, the skill of articulating complex desires, explaining your vision clearly, that's way more valuable now than actually being able to write the code yourself.
And the final mistake. The efficiency killer people often overlook.
Skipping the setup, not taking a few minutes to turn on memory features in your AI tool or create specific projects or contexts. If you don't do that, the AI basically forgets everything you told it 3 prompts ago. Spending maybe 30 minutes setting up those persistent contexts can save you hours of repeating yourself and re-explaining things down the line.
Okay, so we've really dug into these very practical, powerful workflows. What does this all mean? What's the big takeaway for our listener here?
Well, I think the first thing to really internalize is AI isn't magic. It's not a magic wand you just wave. It's a super assistant, a very, very capable assistant.
So the ultimate goal, maybe, of integrating these kinds of workflows, it's about letting the AI handle, say, 80% of the repetitive, boring structural work, like analyzing those 500 reviews or drawing up those initial blueprints, so that you, the human, can focus 100% of your limited time and energy on the 20% that really matters. You know, the strategic decisions, the creative insights, the unique content, the genuine connection with your audience.
Exactly. And the true power shift that these complex workflows really reveal is this: the ability to articulate and clearly describe what you want, your vision, your audience's needs, the precise output you require. That is now the highest leverage skill in the market. Full stop. So maybe think about where you need to improve your descriptive skills today. Thanks again for sharing the sources for this deep dive. It was fascinating. Auto Music.